Part 62. As long as I stay in the Empress Palace, I am invincible. Author, New Dit. Chapter 611. What do you think? The Holy Word Supreme said solemnly, and he gathered many powerful people from the light plane. If the progress in the red flame plane goes smoothly, they don't need to consider the problems in the abyss plane, but the progress here is really not smooth. All the strong men who had entered were defeated. Luo Hanjian has a plane token, and she is the master of the Xian plane. It is difficult for strong people from the outside world to escape her induction. As long as the target is found, Luo Hanjian can rush there in a very short time. The Supreme Punishment said, "Friend Holy Word, how about we divide our troops into two groups? On the abyss plane, their strength can be fully unleashed. If they enter the red flame plane, their strength will be greatly suppressed. They felt wronged by dying in the red flame plane. The current idea of the Holy Word Supreme and others is to find strong men with top-notch concealment systems and bring some of them into the red flame plane. Rely on the ability of the system to enter again and again. Get out of the system before its hiding effect expires. They have found a strong man with a powerful system to get inside, but they have lost contact and something may have happened. The other party entered it more than 10 times in the past 6 months without any problems. But the last time I brought a few more strong people inside, the time passed and they still didn't come out. Holy Word Supreme and others were in a bad mood. Among the powerful people who entered recently, there was a 9-star powerful person. How many of you want to follow fellow Holy Punishment Deist to the abyssal plane? The Supreme Holy Word asked. Half stood up. They are all powerful men from the Holy Punishment Supreme faction. If the Holy Punishment Supreme wants to leave, they will naturally follow the Holy Punishment Supreme. The Holy Word Supreme said in a deep voice, "Fellow Holy Punishment Taoist, there shouldn't be much progress here for the time being. You can go over there. Be careful. Yachen's strength may have become stronger. If nothing can be done, you should evacuate as soon as possible. Don't die in the abyss." The Holy Punishment Supreme nodded, and he quickly headed to the abyss plane with 12 9-star immortal level experts and many 7 or 8-star immortal level experts. The Holy Word Supreme and others continue to besiege the red flame plane. While they were waiting for news inside, they were looking for and inviting strong men with more powerful hiding systems. 2 months later, the Holy Punishment Supreme and the others entered the abyss plane. After figuring out the situation in the abyss plane, they quietly approached Thunder City. It seems that Yechen here is just Yayan. There's no movement. Could it be that the powerful men from other planes released false news to lure us away? Inside the Holy Punishment Supreme Space Treasure, a group of powerful people were communicating. They can see what's going on outside. Thunder City is fine. In Thunder City, Yechen has not made any offensive actions recently. Some guys from the light plane actually came over. Yechen muttered in his heart. The Holy Punishment Supreme came here with restrained breath. Normally Yechen would not be able to find him even if he had the 9-star perfect level of strength. But in a relatively large area near Thunder City, Yechen deployed an induction formation. The formation level reaches 9 stars. There is no 8-star immortal level in the Holy Punishment Supreme formation. Even if he has 9-star peak cultivation, how can he discover the formation arranged by Yechen? If it were an offensive formation, he might be able to sense it, but Yechen's induction formation was not aggressive at all. System, sign in 3 times. Yechen said in his mind. It's only been 3 months since I've been here, and the 6-star immortal system hasn't accumulated a lot of luck, but there's no problem signing in. He can sign in 3 times a month if he wants. The sign-in is successful. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the 8-star perfect sign-in point. Sign in successfully. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the 8-star perfection level Pure World Sunflower. Sign in successfully. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the 8-star perfect piano skill. The sign-in results will come out quickly. As Ye Chen expected, none of the 3 sign-ins reached the 9-star level. Fortunately, Ye Chen got the reward he wanted most. System, use the 8-star perfect level check-in point. Ye Chen said in his mind. It turns out that the speed of accumulating luck at a 6-star check-in point is too slow. This 8-star perfect level check-in point is quite good. Moreover, he can use this 8-star perfection level check-in point to teleport to the skeleton city side, or to the floating city in the 7th heaven. Thunder City is so defensive. What are you doing? The Holy Punishment Supreme thought secretly in his heart. He sent a message to Thunder Emperor and prepared to enter Thunder City. System, use the power of death to attack the Holy Punishment Supreme. Ye Chen said in his mind. At the same time, Ye Chen, Xuanhuan Immortal City, and Xiaoliu all attacked the Holy Punishment Supreme. The Holy Punishment Supreme 9-star peak's strength calmed down and came here quietly. He didn't even think that he had been exposed. Ye Chen and the others' attacks came very quickly. However, the system attacks faster. The distance was very close, and the terrifying power of death poured into the body of the Supreme Punishment crazily. Ye Chen's current system's attack is much stronger than his previous system's death attack. After all, Ye Chen is already at the early stage of 9-star cultivation. Not good. The face of the Holy Punishment Supreme changed wildly. Upon sensing the attack of the power of death, he immediately focused on resisting the power of death as quickly as possible, and withdrew a lot of power into his body. No. The next moment, the Holy Punishment Supreme felt the 3 extremely terrifying forces of Ye Chen and the others. If the Holy Punishment Supreme's full defense is 100, then at this moment his defense is only 80, and Ye Chen and the others' attack is 110. The attack came too fast. The Holy Punishment Supreme didn't have time to let the strong men in the space treasure go outside to ask them to help. Puff. Puff. Many sword energies and many green willow leaves entered the Holy Punishment Supreme's body in an instant, and at the same time, the Holy Punishment Supreme was enveloped by flames. The Holy Punishment Supreme was equivalent to bearing the attacks of 4 9-star perfect strong men at the same time. One of them was the top 9-star perfect. Come out. Summon. The Holy Punishment Supreme was a 9-star peak strong man, but he did not die immediately. While resisting, he let a large number of strong men in the space treasure go outside. But when the Holy Punishment Supreme did this, Ye Chen used the system summoning ability. Damn it! The Holy Punishment Supreme's eyes showed panic. The 4 forces were destroying his body crazily. He simply couldn't draw out the strength to resist the summoning. As Ye Chen reached the 9-star cultivation, his ability in system summoning was also much stronger. The strong men in the Holy Punishment Supreme's space treasure successfully got outside, but before they could help, the Holy Punishment Supreme disappeared. The Holy Punishment Supreme appeared in Xuanhuan Immortal City. System, teleport to the skeleton city. Ye Chen said immediately. Instantly, Ye Chen teleported away. Die. Kill. As soon as Ye Chen teleported away, the strong men in Thunder City and many other strong men in the light plane reacted and attacked at the same time. Their systems all have attack capabilities. In Thunder City, Thunder Emperor also used his own system. The surroundings of Thunder City were instantly filled with extremely terrifying system attack power. Many strong men felt their hair stand on end. After a while, the attack power of various systems dissipated. What's going on? The Thunder Emperor's face was gloomy, and the system's attack seemed to have not hit the target. It took him a long time to restore the system's attack power. It was very uncomfortable to hit nothing. Thunder Emperor, let us in. Thunder Emperor. Several strong men from the light plane spoke. The Thunder Emperor opened the defensive barrier, and many strong men from the light plane came to Thunder City. Their faces were frighteningly ugly. Just when he arrived here, the Holy Punishment Supreme was in trouble. Among the strong men from the light plane, only the Holy Punishment Supreme was at the peak of 9 stars. As long as I stay in the Empress Palace, I am invincible. Author, New Di. Chapter 612. On the skeleton plane, Ye Chen's figure appeared with a smile on his face. Perfect. Ye Chen gave himself a like. This time, not only did he successfully capture the Holy Punishment Supreme, but it was also likely to trigger a collective attack by the Thunder Emperor and others. If the system's attack is used up, it will not be able to recover in a short period of time. Ye Chen has a great advantage in this regard. Once he has a 9-star perfection level time cube, the normal time acceleration in the time cube can reach 200 million times. Secondly, his system is a 10-star immortal level system, so the recovery speed is faster. The supreme holy punishment will imprison your cultivation. Ye Chen's voice sounded in the mind of the Holy Punishment Supreme. Ye Chen, I am the top strong man in the plane of light. Although you have a powerful system, the strength of the red flame plane is weak. Don't think you will win. The Supreme Punishment said sternly. Ye Chen said calmly, you confine your cultivation, and I will clean up the raging power in your body, otherwise you can do it yourself. The Holy Punishment Supreme gnashed his teeth. The 4 terrifying forces in his body were still destroying his body. His strength is decreasing. Okay. It didn't take long for the Holy Punishment Supreme to compromise. The power inside his body was so terrifying that he couldn't suppress it with just his own strength. When the power in his body dissipated, he judged that his peak 9-star strength would probably drop to the early 9-star stage, or even not at the early 9-star stage. Soon the Supreme Holy Punishment imprisoned his own cultivation. The power within him also calmed down. Ban. Ye Chen also added restrictions to the Supreme Punishment. Holy Punishment Supreme, open your space treasure. Ye Chen said with a smile. The Holy Punishment Supreme glared at Ye Chen. Ye Chen, you must fight our light plane to the end. This will not do you any good. If you give us your 10-star immortal system, with your 9-star perfection level strength, it is entirely possible for you to survive. We in the light plane do not necessarily target your red flame plane. Ye Chen slapped him across the face. Crack. A soft crisp sound sounded. Ye Chen's slap in the face directly knocked the Holy Punishment Supreme level into confusion. As a top expert in the light plane, has he ever been slapped in the face like this? Supreme Punishment, recognize your identity clearly, you are just a prisoner now. Be obedient and you may still live, otherwise you are dead. Ye Chen said with an indifferent expression. The Holy Punishment Supreme was furious, and he roared, Ye Chen, how dare you hit me? Crack. Crack. Ye Chen took action again, this time he slapped the Supreme Punishment more than 10 times in succession. The Holy Punishment Supreme was beaten stupidly. Ye Chen doesn't take their light plane seriously at all. I will give you 10 breaths of time to think about opening the space treasure. If you don't cooperate when the time is up, I will kill you directly. The treasures in your space treasure still belong to me. Ye Chen said with an indifferent expression. Everything has fallen into his hands, but he is still so crazy. Isn't it a shame? You. The Holy Punishment Supreme gnashed his teeth. But looking at Ye Chen's eyes, the Supreme Punishment gradually became frightened. He could see that if he didn't obey when the time came, he would really die. If he dies here, he will die permanently and resurrection will be impossible. The immortality of an immortal level powerhouse must be in his original plane. Ye Chen, don't be impulsive. If you kill me, Luo Hongjian and the others will definitely be miserable. The Holy Punishment Supreme said in a deep voice. He said and obediently opened his space treasure. Ye Chen's consciousness entered the time plane. His eyes lit up. There are a lot of good things in the space treasures of the Holy Punishment Supreme. The Lord of the Skeleton Hall is already very fat and rich, but compared to the Holy Punishment Supreme, he is still far behind. The Holy Punishment Supreme has a higher level of cultivation and is a 9-star peak level expert. In addition, the Holy Punishment Supreme is a strong person in the light plane, and the light plane is even more powerful. Supreme Punishment, you have a lot of good things, so I won't be polite. Ye Chen smiled. As he spoke, he quickly moved all the treasures of the Holy Punishment Supreme to the Yanhuang Immortal City. Among them is Pangu Axe. This thing is a 9-star peak level treasure. It was created by many powerful people with the help of Pangu. It takes a lot of time and resources. Pangu's cultivation was in the late 9-star stage, and holding the Pangu axe at the peak 9-star level, he has combat power at the peak 9-star level. The Lord of Light and others killed Pangu and the others back then and got a lot of good things. Pangu's axe was one of the treasures given to the Supreme Punishment. He had other powerful treasures, but this one wasn't very suitable for him, so he didn't use them. Ye Chen, if you let me go, I will give you a lot of treasures when the time comes. The Holy Punishment Supreme said in a deep voice. Ye Chen said with a smile, first identify the treasures you own and give them to me. I am interested. You. The face of the Holy Punishment Supreme was frighteningly dark. The treasure that has been recognized as its owner will be derecognized, and the compatibility will be greatly reduced when it is re-recognized. And without the powerful treasure, his strength will decline. It's not that easy to unconfess your identity. I'll give you a quarter of an hour to think about it. Ye Chen said softly. A quarter of an hour later, Ye Chen got 3 treasures, including a 9-star late-stage defensive treasure and a 9-star peak spear. The spear contained endless destructive power. This is a peerless treasure that is not inferior to Pangu Axe. Watching Ye Chen put away the 3 treasures, the Supreme Saint Punishment felt his heart bleeding. Supreme Saint Punishment, there is also your system, I want it too. Ye Chen said. The system of the Supreme Saint Punishment is a 9-star immortal system, which is very fat. Then you can let your system devour it to strengthen yourself. Ye Chen, don't go too far. The Supreme Saint Punishment said furiously. The treasures in the space treasure are gone, and the treasures that recognize the master are gone. Ye Chen actually wants to use his system. This is to squeeze him dry. Ye Chen smiled and said, if you don't cooperate, I will kill you, and then let my system devour your system, the same. Supreme Saint Punishment. Ye Chen didn't change his tricks. He still threatened with his life. But what can he do? Ye Chen's threat is indeed effective. Under the 200 million times time acceleration, the Holy Punishment Supreme soon cancelled the recognition of his system, and Ye Chen's system devoured his system. System, you digest his system and then improve yourself. Ye Chen said in his mind. Host, which ability do you want to improve? The ability of death attack has reached the limit, you can improve the rest. The system said. Ye Chen thought for a while and said, then you can improve the ability of summoning. The ability of summoning is still very useful. Okay host. The system said. Soon the system entered the upgrade state. At this level, it takes a long time to upgrade the system. But in the time cube, with 200 million times time acceleration, this time can be greatly shortened. Less than 2 years have passed in the outside world, and the system upgrade has been completed. The ability of summoning has been greatly enhanced. In addition, the improvement of this ability will also drive the overall improvement of the system. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. As long as I stay in the Empress Palace, I am invincible. Author, New Dit. Chapter 613. Host, the upgrade is complete. The system's voice sounded in Ye Chen's mind, and Ye Chen quickly opened his eyes. How is the system? The system said, the host's ability to summon has been greatly improved. If the distance is not far, characters in the early stage of 9 stars and the middle stage of 9 stars can be directly forcibly summoned. The other party will be summoned before they have time to ask the others for help. Yachen nodded slightly. Before upgrading, it was very difficult to forcibly summon characters in the early stage of 9 stars, and other means had to be supplemented. Nowadays, characters in the mid 9-star stage can strengthen their summons, which is quite good. Supplemented by other means, it will not be particularly difficult to summon a strong person in the late 9-star stage and at the peak of the 9-star level. It was quite difficult to summon the Holy Punishment Supreme this time. Not only did he use the system's death attack, but he, Xuanhuan Immortal City, and Xiaoliu also took action. It almost failed. I wonder if the strong men from the Light Plane are still in Thunder City. Yachen secretly thought. He reckons the possibility is quite high. After all, the Holy Punishment Supreme was caught here, and there is no way a strong man from the Light Plane could leave in despair. System, teleport to Thunder City. Yachen said in his mind. He restrained his breath and disappeared. There are no strong people here in Skeleton City, so the effect of signing in here is not good. The next second, the space fluctuated, and Yachen's figure appeared over Thunder City. He used the system's ability to teleport here, and the fluctuations caused were extremely subtle. There were no strong people nearby, so no one noticed him. Yachen's eyes showed surprise. Thunder City seems to be more lively than before, with more powerful people. Yachen quickly inquired about it. The Light Plane actually offered a reward to kill him. If you catch him or kill him, the Light Plane can give extremely high rewards, attracting many strong people. These strong men come from different planes. On the one hand, the Light Plane did this because he wanted them to help deal with him. On the other hand, he probably also wanted him to kill those people and provoke more planes. After all, this is the third-ranked dimension. It's a shame to ask for a reward for killing me. Yachen muttered in his heart. He didn't even think about it, but the strength he showed was already at the 9-star perfection level, and it was more than his own 9-star perfection level. Instead of taking action immediately, Yachen waited for a day. Xiaoliu adapted to the environment here. It's better to sign in first. Yachen muttered in his heart. If he summons him first, he may be able to attract more strong men to come over, but when he takes action, many new strong men here may launch system attacks. System, sign in 3 times. Yachen said in his mind. There are quite a lot of strong people gathered here. They have accumulated good luck in the past 2 years, and there is still some system power that they have devoured before. The sign-in effect should be good. After all, his cultivation is stronger than before. The system has also been improved. Sign in successfully, congratulations to the host for improving the skill to the 9-star perfection level. Yachen felt calm inside. It turned out to be the peak 9-star level, and the improvement was not high. Sign in successfully, congratulations to the host, Xuanhuan 4 Swords, for being promoted to the 9-star perfection level. Yachen raised his eyebrows. This was even better than the Kung Fu. Although his combat power originally reached the 9-star perfection level, it was relatively low among the 9-star perfection. The improvement of the 4 Swords of Xuanhuan can make it stronger. Although it turns out that the 4 Swords of Xuanhuan are also at the peak of 9 stars. System, what's going on? Please work harder. Although this is a 9-star consummation level reward, your overall strength is only average. Yachen complained in his mind. Sign in successfully, congratulations to the host for obtaining the 9-star perfection chaos pill. Yachen shook his head secretly. If you want to say that this thing is bad, it doesn't make sense. A 9-star perfection level treasure is already very good. Even these 3 things can't improve his overall strength a lot. If you sign in 3 9-star perfect level Babel Sword Bamboo, or 3 9-star perfect level Pure World Sunflowers, That would be really cool. System, strengthen the 4 swords of Xuanhuan. Ye Chen said when he arrived inside the time cube. Good host. In the outside world, in 10 days, the 4 swords of Xuanhuan were strengthened and completed, and the 4 swords of Xuanhuan reached 9-star perfection. Unless he reaches the 10-star immortal level, there is probably no room for improvement in the 4 swords of Xuanhuan. The system is only at the 10-star immortal level, and it is impossible to upgrade the 4 swords of Xuanhuan to the 10-star immortal level. The strength has improved a bit. The speed of cultivation has also improved a lot. Ye Chen muttered in his heart. The exercise method was replaced by a 9-star perfection level exercise, which was good for his practice. In addition, he also ate the 9-star perfection level chaos pill. Talent has improved a lot. Call. Ye Chen set his target on a mid-9-star strong man from another plane. The summoned 9-star mid-level powerhouse was not in Thunder City. He was looking for it outside Thunder City. Save. Before the cry for help could be heard, this powerful man in the mid-9-star stage was forcibly summoned. The movement was relatively loud and immediately attracted the attention of many other strong men. Boom. 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 3 domineering auras spread out, covering a large area in an instant. This is Ye Chen. I warn the other powerful people in the plane not to participate in the conflict between me and the Abyss plane and the Light plane, otherwise the consequences will be extremely serious. I have a powerful system, and the system has a powerful death attack ability. Even if I kill you in your own plane, you will die. Ye Chen's voice echoed in the sky and earth on the Thunder City side. Many strong men on the Thunder City side immediately used the system attack, but at the moment of the burst of breath, Ye Chen had already teleported away from here. The strong men who used the system attack attacked another lonely one. 3 9-star perfect level strong men. This, Ye Chen is not easy to provoke, we'd better withdraw. Damn it, the Light plane and the Abyss plane deliberately concealed it, only saying that Ye Chen can burst out the strength of the 9-star perfect level. Many strong men secretly discussed it. The strong men on the Bauhinia plane looked gloomy. The 9-star mid-stage strong man summoned by Ye Chen came from the Bauhinia plane, and his status was relatively high. Thunder Emperor, you are responsible for the summoning of Zi Logo Supreme. The strong men on the Bauhinia plane immediately found Thunder Emperor and them. The Bauhinia plane is very strong. Rank 6th in the plane. Even when facing the strong men of the Light plane, the strong men of the Bauhinia plane are not afraid. Thunder Emperor, your description of Ye Chen's strength is seriously wrong. That's right. Many other strong men in the Bauhinia plane spoke up. They were filled with righteous indignation. Thunder Emperor and his brows were furrowed. If Ye Chen had killed people directly, that would have been good. It would be troublesome if he had captured people. Everyone, Ye Chen's strength has been constantly improving. I believe you also know that Ye Chen's strength was quite low before. Thunder Emperor said in a deep voice. When he started to enter the Abyss plane, any powerful warrior here could kill him. He hasn't made a move for quite some time, so it's normal that his strength has increased a lot. Ye Chen's voice sounded in the mind of Ziju Tianzun in the Zijing plane, Daiu Ziju, according to Zi Logo Supreme, Zi Ting Emperor and his men have concealed a lot of my strength from you. Before, I was indeed at the peak of the 9 stars, but I also have 2 assistants at the 9-star perfect level, which they didn't tell you. Ziju Tianzun quickly sent a voice message, Daiu Ye Chen, what do you want to release Zi Logo Tianzun? Haha, it's simple, you just kill an 8-star warrior, 3 7-star warriors, and 10 6-star warriors in the Abyss plane. After all, they come from 7 different forces. The forces they belong to must have a 9-star immortal warrior. Ye Chen smiled and sent a voice message. Originally, he considered exchanging the fragments of the Yanhuang plane token, but later thought that it was not the right time. If he proposed to exchange it now, some warriors would be led to the Yanhuang plain in advance. As long as I stay in the Empress Palace, I am invincible. Author, New Di. Chapter 614. Ziju Tianzun instantly understood what Ye Chen meant. The plane of light and the plane of abyss offered bounties to attract them to deal with Ye Chen. Ye Chen wanted to treat others in their own way. If he only killed 1 8-star level expert, 3 7-star level experts, and 10 6-star level experts, it would actually be okay. Adding the other 2 requirements is quite troublesome. It comes from 7 different forces. The force he belongs to must also have a 9-star immortal level expert. This almost provokes all the forces with 9-star immortal powerhouses in the abyss plane. Fellow Taoist Ye Chen, can you change the conditions? We in the Bauhinia plane can use treasures to redeem Ziluo Tianzun. Ziju Tianzun said in a message. Ye Chen said calmly, fellow Taoist Ziju, you should know that my conditions are already very good. This is because I don't want to start a war with your Bauhinia plane at the same time, otherwise Ziluo Tianzun will be dead. You have half a month. Half a month is up. If you haven't finished it yet, then I'm sorry. It was you who provoked me first, so you will bear my wrath. Ziluo Tianzun will die then. Ziju Tianzun immediately secretly discussed with the other powerful people in the Bauhinia plain. On the other hand, they continued to put pressure on Emperor Lei Yuan. Emperor Lei Yuan still used the same rhetoric as before. Let's choose a target and then kill them secretly. Leave no evidence. Ziju Tianzun secretly sent a message to the remaining powerful men in the Bauhinia plain. Good. 10 days later, Ziju Tianzun and the others quietly killed 14 powerful men in the abyss plane, including a figure in the early 8-star stage. The strong men in the abyss plane did not notice it in a short period of time. Emperor Lei Yuan, we will come back again. You must give us an explanation in the Bauhinia plain then. Ziju Tianzun said coldly, and he quickly left with the powerful men from the Bauhinia plain. Half an hour later, a strong person noticed something unusual. Someone can't be contacted. Everyone should contact the people they know immediately to see if there is anything unusual. Emperor Lei Yuan got the news, and he immediately sent a message. Within a few minutes, Emperor Lei Yuan received the news that 14 strong men, including an 8-star level strong man, had died in the abyss plane. Damn it! Emperor Lei Yuan was furious. He knew without thinking that it must have been done by a strong man from the Bauhinia plain. But what can he do? Are you going to fall out with the Bauhinia plain and cause trouble for those powerful people in the Bauhinia plain? Soon, 15 days passed quickly. Ye Chen once again sent a message to Ziju Tianzun. Ziju Tianzun replied, fellow Taoist Ye Chen, we have killed the 14 strong men you requested. Wherever you are, we will make a deal. Ye Chen told Ziju Tianzun a location. Ziju Tianzun looked for it and found a teleportation array. Ziju Tianzun, you put the space treasure containing the corpse in the teleportation array, activate the array, and I will release the person after verification. Ye Chen said via voice transmission. Ziju Tianzun snorted coldly. He threw a space ring into the teleportation array, and the array was quickly activated. Just a few seconds later, Ye Chen received the space ring. There were 14 corpses in the space ring, and they were all killed recently. Fellow Daoist Ziluo, it seems I can only communicate with you in the future. Ye Chen smiled. Purple Supreme nodded. He is good at kendo. Ye Chen has talked with him a lot about kendo these days, and he has benefited a lot. Although he was summoned by Ye Chen, Ziluo Supreme had no intention of becoming an enemy of Ye Chen at this moment. Ye Chen has also competed with him these days, and Ye Chen has a perfect 9-star level of strength. It is definitely not easy to seize a 10-star immortal level system from a strong person of this level. Maybe it won't be possible even at great cost. In this case, why not give up early? Fellow Taoist Ye Chen, say goodbye. Ziluo Supreme cupped his hands and said. Ye Chen cupped his hands, fellow deist Ziluo, as long as the Bauhinia plane maintains peace with me, and as long as I don't die, within tens of billions of years, I will definitely help you, deist Ziluo, reach the peak level of 9-star strength. No sooner said than done. Ziluo Supreme's eyes brightened, fellow Taoist Ye Chen, are you serious? Tens of billions of years are very short for a strong man of his level. His strength stuck in the middle stage of 9 stars has been for 3,000 epochs, and one epoch is 1 trillion years old. Ye Chen smiled and said, fellow Taoist Ziluo, since I have guaranteed the 9-star perfection level of cultivation, I should still have this reputation. Okay, I believe it. Ziluo Tianzun nodded, I will try my best to convince the other strong men. Farewell. Ziluo Tianzun left. There was a faint smile on Ye Chen's face. He was ranked 6th in the Bauhinia plane and was very powerful. If he could maintain peace, it wouldn't be a big deal to benefit Ziluo Tianzun. Tens of billions of years, very far away. If he is still alive by then, even if he has not reached the 10-star level, he must already have many 9-star peak and 9-star perfection level treasures. It is not difficult to give treasures and elixirs to help Ziluo Tianzun reach the peak of 9 stars. 1 year, 2 years. Unknowingly, another 4 years have passed. 7 years have passed since leaving the Xuanhuan plain. Ye Chen has not signed in for the past 4 years. He wants to accumulate accumulation and do something good. Many strong men have left Thunder City. Without more accumulation, Ye Chen knew that he would not be able to sign in to obtain the treasure of 9-star perfection. Ye Chen now looked down on ordinary 9-star level treasures. He was floating. Boom! A powerful aura burst out from Ye Chen. Ye Chen's cultivation finally ushered in a breakthrough and reached the middle stage of 9-star. His combat power was naturally still 9-star perfection, which was not much improved compared to before. But his cultivation improved and the system ability was stronger. Huh! Ye Chen let out a long breath and a smile appeared on his face. It's not easy to break through. He ate the chaos pill of 9-star perfection before, and he also ate other pills. It took so long to practice at 200 million times time acceleration. Ye Chen felt that even if the time was accelerated by 200 million times, it would be impossible to break through to the late stage of 9-star without more than 20 years. At this level now, Ye Chen is equivalent to reaching the top of the mountain. The environment is bad and his physical strength is exhausted. Every 100 meters up is extremely difficult. According to the experience of other masters, at the 9-star level, each time you advance to a new realm, it takes at least 3 times as long as the previous realm. It has been 7 years since I left the Xuanhuan plain. 3 times is 21 years. This is the minimum. Fortunately, by the time he reached the middle stage of the 9-star level, Ye Chen's strength had reached the top 9-star level of perfection. In a one-on-one fight, Ye Chen was no match for anyone. Of course, he couldn't be in the other plane, because the other was the master of the plane. Have all the masters from other planes here run away. Ye Chen muttered in his heart. He arrived at Thunder City, which was tightly blocked. Ye Chen couldn't detect what was going on in Thunder City. Maybe there were many masters inside. System, sign in 3 times. Ye Chen said in his mind. If there were many masters in Thunder City, Ye Chen would be happier. As long as I stay in the Empress Palace, I am invincible. Author, New Dit. Chapter 615. Sign in successfully. Congratulations to the host for upgrading the protective armor to the 9-star perfection level. Ye Chen's eyes lit up, this is not bad. His protective armor is still only a 9-star elementary level, which is far behind. If it weren't for Xuanhuan Eternal City's strong defense and good physique, if he encountered a powerful attack, Ye Chen's current defense would be quite troublesome. The 4 swords of Zhu Xian have reached 9-star perfection, and the protective armor has also been upgraded to 9-star perfection. Both attack and defense are at the 9-star perfection level. Ye Chen muttered in his heart. Sign in successfully, congratulations to the host for obtaining the 9-star perfect level bamboo sword. Ye Chen was overjoyed. The long-lost Tong Tianjian Zhu. He himself obtained a powerful treasure, which slightly improved his strength. He directly obtained the 9-star perfect level bamboo sword and bamboo, and his overall strength improved a lot. And Tong Tianjian Zhu, who signed in here, immediately adapted to the environment here. Delightful. Sign in successfully, congratulations to the host for obtaining the 9-star perfection level substitute puppet. When encountering a fatal attack, the substitute puppet can bear death instead. Ye Chen took a deep breath. Nice one. This is a life-saving thing. Ye Chen's current 9-star perfection level strength usually means that he has nothing to fear. If he can't beat him, he can usually run away, but he is a little worried. He is not the only one with a 10-star system. If he meets other top experts with 10-star systems, he might be instantly killed by them. With this stand-in puppet, he is equivalent to having an extra life. It's true that I have accumulated it for so long. The rewards these 3 times are much better. Ye Chen secretly thought. He arrived inside the time cube, upgraded the defensive treasures as quickly as possible, cultivated the sky-breaking sword bamboo, and also bound the stand-in puppet. Xuanhuan Immortal City, Xiaoliu, Tong Tianjian Zhu, and myself are all 9-star perfect level strength, plus the 9-star peak level pure world sunflower. Ye Chen showed a satisfied smile on his face. Such strength is already extremely powerful. You must know that the Abyss Plane ranks 10th among all planes, and the Thunder Abyss Emperor can only achieve the full strength of 9 stars when it explodes. With only 2 years left, the plane rankings of the Xuanhuan plane will be updated. We must try our best to obtain the remaining 4 fragments of the Xuanhuan plane within these 2 years. Ye Chen secretly thought. Even if he can't get them all, if he gets a little more, the plane tokens will be stronger, and his strength on the side of the Xuanhuan plane will be increased. Emperor Lei Yuan, how are you? Ye Chen contacted Emperor Lei Yuan through the system. Emperor Lei Yuan's eyes flickered. He is in Thunder City, and is currently refining the plane token with the help of other strong men. When his refining is completed, he can become the master of the Abyss Plane. Fellow Daoist Ye Chen, you are quite strong. How about we stay on the same page with you from the Abyss Plane? You can fight against the Light Plane with all your strength. You killed some powerful men in our Abyss Plane, but you have a perfect 9-star cultivation level and a powerful system. We admit defeat. Emperor Lei Yuan said in a message. In the past, Emperor Lei Yuan was very supportive of the fight against Ye Chen, because only when the pressure he faced was strong enough, the rest of the people would fully support him in becoming the master of the plane. Now he's halfway there. Even if he is no longer an enemy of Ye Chen, the other strong men in the Abyss Plane cannot give up halfway. In 10 or 8 years, he can become the master. Skeleton Hall Master and the others are dead, so what? As long as he becomes the master of the Abyss Plane, the ranking of the Abyss Plane will probably move forward. In the next critical 10 or 8 years, Emperor Lei Yuan did not want to fight with Ye Chen. Emperor Lei Yuan, it seems that I want to congratulate you. It won't take too long, and you will probably become the master of the Abyss. Ye Chen said via voice transmission. Emperor Lei Yuan's expression did not change. Ye Chen could guess that he was not surprised. Fellow Daoist Ye Chen, to tell you the truth, I am currently refining the plane token, and it won't take too long to complete it. Before that, even if you go all out, you are unlikely to kill me. At most, you will kill some of the other strong men in our Abyss Plane. I admit defeat not because I'm afraid of you, but because I don't want the other strong men in the Abyss Plane to die again. Emperor Lei Yuan said in a message. Ye Chen's eyes flickered. If Emperor Lei Yuan became the master of the plane, it would not be good news for him. Fellow deist Lei Yuan, if I attack, you and many other strong men will have to defend. If the other strong men die, your support will also be reduced. It will delay your time to become the master of the plane. Ye Chen said calmly. Fellow Taoist Ye Chen, you can't change the overall situation, and at the same time, you will offend me. This is not a wise choice for you. What do you want? Emperor Lei Yuan said in a message. Even if he gives some benefits, he is willing to exchange for the following piece. Ye Chen said, are the strong men from the light plane now in the abyss plane? Have no idea. They are not in Thunder City. I do not accept that they are temporarily here in Thunder City. Emperor Lei Yuan said. The Holy Word Supreme and the others are not happy for Lei Yuan Emperor to become the master of the abyss plane. Emperor Lei Yuan's becoming the master is equivalent to the fact that on the other side of the earth, if a certain country develops mushroom bombs, it will have a very strong trump card. It is much harder to destroy a plane with a plane master. For a long time, to the light plane, the abyssal plane was just a vicious dog raised. Now this vicious dog actually wants to evolve into a tiger. If given the chance, Holy Word Supreme and the others might want to destroy Emperor Lei Yuan. Fellow deist Ye Chen, let me tell you some news. There is a strong man with 9-star perfect strength coming from the light plane, and there is a high probability that he is still in the abyss plane. It's even possible that it's not very far from Thunder City. Ye Chen narrowed his eyes. It was definitely impossible for the light to come over. Which one? Ye Chen asked. The light dominates the 9-star perfection level. In addition to him, according to Ye Chen's understanding, there are 2 strong men in the light plane who have the 9-star perfection level. One of them is Aphra, the goddess of light. She has a 9-star perfection level. She is also the woman who dominates the light. The other is Theodore, the messenger of destruction. He only has the strength of the 9-star peak, but he has a 9-star perfect level destruction system and possesses 9-star perfect level treasures. Theodore's strength has reached the 9-star perfection level, which is stronger than Emperor Lei Yuan. Theodore. Emperor Lei Yuan thought for a while and said the message. As long as he becomes the master of the plane, he is not afraid of the plane of light at all. Let Ye Chen deal with Theodore, it is the best choice for him to become the master of the plane safely. Emperor Lei Yuan, do you still have the fragments of the Xuanhuan plane? The enemy of my enemy is a friend. I intend to support the rise of the Xuanhuan plane. Ye Chen said via voice transmission. Emperor Lei Yuan frowned secretly. Ye Chen wants to support the Xuanhuan plane? That makes sense. It is true that the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Although Ye Chen behaves fiercely, Emperor Lei Yuan doesn't think so if his current strength exceeds that of the light plane. The red flame plane is now surrounded by many powerful people, and problems may arise over time. Fellow Taoist Ye Chen, I don't have this. We only have 2 pieces in the abyss plane, and we have already traded them to you before. Emperor Lei Yuan said in a message. Ye Chen said calmly, since not, I'd better talk to Theodore to see if he is interested in jointly attacking Thunder City. Emperor Lei Yuan said quickly, fellow Taoist Ye Chen, you are at your own risk by doing this. What if we, the abyss plane and the light plane, jointly attack you? I'll talk to the strong men from the light plane and see if we can trade the fragments from the Xuanhuan plane. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. As long as I stay in the Empress Palace, I am invincible. Author, New Dit. Chapter 616. Ye Chen sent a message, fellow Taoist Lei Yuan, I hold the holy punishment supreme. Wouldn't it be better for me to trade directly with the plane of light? Emperor Lei Yuan said, fellow Taoist Ye Chen, I will finish the transaction with the light plane first. If you trade again, you should be able to get more plane fragments. If you trade directly, you will only get 2 fragments at most. There was a faint smile on Ye Chen's face. He didn't trade directly with the light plane, was he just considering this? Okay, you try trading first. You won't have much time to give money. If you can't do it, I will deal with it myself. Ye Chen said softly. Emperor Lei Yuan thought for a while and sent the message directly to Theodore. Fail. Fellow Deist Theodore, please come to Thunder City. Fellow Deist Lei Yuan wants to chat with you. Emperor Lei Yuan asked an 8-star immortal level expert to use the system to contact Theodore. Theodore is actually not far from Thunder City now. He just wouldn't answer the summons. I don't want Emperor Lei Yuan and the others to know that he is nearby now. We'll be there in half a day. Theodore said softly. After half a day passed, Theodore lifted the blockage and directly sent a message to Emperor Lei Yuan. Fellow Deist Lei Yuan, what good things have come to mind for me? Emperor Lei Yuan sent a message. Fellow Taoist Theodore, there may be some misunderstandings between us recently. We in the Abyss Plane and your Light Plane have a common enemy. Theodore scoffed. Xuanhuan Plane? Today's Xuanhuan Plane is simply unattractive to Theodore. He has not been to the Xuanhuan Plane for a long time, and he has no interest in it. Fellow Deist Theodore, Ye Chen mentioned that he plans to support the rise of the Xuanhuan Plane. With his support, the development of the Xuanhuan Plane may be faster in the future. If we in the Abyssal Plane can protect ourselves without worries, we can invest more efforts in this aspect. Emperor Lei Yuan said. Theodore frowned secretly. Ye Chen is very powerful and has many resources. If he supports the Xuanhuan Plane, it will not be good news for the Light Plane. Some strong people in the Xuanhuan Plane will soar in strength as long as they obtain enough resources. Fellow Deist Lei Yuan, we in the Light Plane still support you in principle in becoming the master. Theodore said. Ye Chen is a big trouble. If he supports the Xuanhuan Plane, the Xuanhuan Plane will also become a trouble. At this time, we cannot break up with the Abyss Plane. Theodore's attitude softened a lot. Emperor Lei Yuan also felt the kindness released by Theodore. In this case, negotiating a deal with Theodore will have a greater chance of success. Fellow Deist Theodore, you should still have the plane fragments from the Xuanhuan Plane, right? If Ye Chen wants to support the rise of the Xuanhuan Plane, this thing should be more attractive to him. I will suck him into the Abyss Plane for a while. I'll give him a big surprise then. Emperor Lei Yuan said in a murderous voice. Theodore thought, of course they still have this thing, he has one on him. This thing is of no use to him. Emperor Lei Yuan, I will give you a piece directly. I only have one piece on my body, the rest should be on Afra and the Lord of Light. Theodore said. He did not doubt Emperor Lei Yuan. For a long time, the Abyss Plane has been the evil dog of the Light Plane, and the hatred between the Xuanhuan Plane and the Abyss Plane is as deep as the sea. Fellow Deist Theodore, thank you. But one piece seems a bit insufficient. Fellow Deist Theodore, can you go back and bring over the other fragments of the Xuanhuan Plane? Emperor Lei Yuan said in a message. Theodore frowned secretly. Did Emperor Lei Yuan want to use this method to make him leave for a while? If he refuses, Emperor Lei Yuan may misunderstand him and think that he will not leave but will continue to look for opportunities to take action. Although he does have such thoughts. If Emperor Lei Yuan and the others start a fight with Ye Chen, maybe an opportunity will arise. If there is a chance to destroy Ye Chen, destroy Ye Chen. If there is a chance to destroy Emperor Lei Yuan, then destroy Emperor Lei Yuan. Fellow Deist Theodore, do you have a question? You don't have to give these fragments for free, we in the Abyss will pay for them. If you want to kill Ye Chen, the next period of time is critical. Emperor Lei Yuan said. Theodore thought for a while and said, Fellow Taoist Lei Yuan, there is no problem. I will go back and bring more people over. Theodore feels that these current strengths are not enough. Not long after, Theodore threw out his fragment of the Yanhuang plane, and the Yanhuang plane fragment flew towards Thunder City at a very fast speed. Yechen owns the Yanhuang plane token. When the fragment was in Theodore's treasure, the Yanhuang plane token did not sense it, but now it can naturally sense it. But Yechen didn't take action to intercept it. The plane fragments successfully entered Thunder City. It seems that Yechen is not here. Theodore thought to himself. He was ready to attack. Fellow deist Theodore, thank you. You're welcome. Theodore quickly left with many strong men from the light plane. He was worried about being in danger if he left alone, and he was not worried about leaving the rest behind. Fellow deist Yechen, Theodore has left. With his speed, he can go back and forth within a year. I will put this fragment of the plane token here first. He might check it out then. Emperor Lei Yuan said in a message. Ken. Yechen said calmly. Emperor Lei Yuan has his own plans, and Yechen himself also has his own ideas. Once the fragments of the Yanhuang plane are in the hands of Emperor Lei Yuan, it will be much easier for him to obtain them. Even if Emperor Lei Yuan becomes the master of the plane by then. After all, Emperor Lei Yuan only has a peak 9-star cultivation level. His strength increased 5 times, which is equivalent to 5 9-star peak level experts. It should be impossible for Emperor Lei Yuan's strength to increase more than 5 times in a short period of time. Even 5 times, the possibility is not very high. The strength increased 5 times, but it does not mean the strength increased 5 times. He, Xiaoliu, Yanhuang Eternal City, and Tongtian Sword and Bamboo all had the strength of the 9-star perfection level, plus the pure sunflower at the peak of the 9-star level. Not so afraid. A year passed in the blink of an eye, and Theodore returned as expected, bringing more powerful men from the light plane into his space treasure. Fellow deist Lei Yuan, we still have 3 fragments from the Yanhuang plane in the light plane. The Lord does not allow us to take them all away, so he left 1 piece behind. I brought the other 2 pieces, and I can give you another piece. There is another piece for me to keep for myself. Theodore said. Emperor Lei Yuan immediately informed Yechen of the situation. 2 fragments, so attractive. Fellow Taoist Theodore, what do you want? Emperor Lei Yuan said. Fellow deist Lei Yuan, considering the friendship between our light plane and your abyss plane, is there any need to trade this thing? I'll give it to you directly. Theodore did not check, and another fragment of the Yanhuang plane flew towards Thunder City. The Yanhuang plane token fragments successfully flew into Thunder City. Yechen's voice sounded in Emperor Lei Yuan's mind, fellow deist Lei Yuan, I summon one of you, and place the plane token on the other person. You appoint the person and inform him of his soul aura. Emperor Lei Yuan did not hesitate, he quickly informed Yechen of the candidate. Call. The person chosen by Emperor Lei Yuan was certainly not very strong. Even though Thunder City had triple defense, Yechen's system easily summoned the target. The 2 plane token fragments are naturally on him. Plane token fragments from the Yanhuang plane? I like it too. Friends from the light plane, how many fragments do you think the holy punishment is worth? Yechen's voice spread far to Thunder City. Theodore's eyes flashed. In fact, his relationship with the Holy Punishment Supreme was just average, and it would be best if the Holy Punishment Supreme was dead. But of course he can't express such thoughts openly. Emperor Lei Yuan sent a message to Theodore, fellow deist Theodore, if you ask us for it, we in the abyss plane will reject you forcefully. This is to keep Yechen. You are considerate. As long as I stay in the Empress Palace, I am invincible. Author, New Di. Chapter 617. Theodore took a deep breath, and his voice rang out, Yechen, although you are pretty good, you can't win against us in the light plane. Don't go further down the wrong path. Release the Holy Punishment Supreme, you may have a way to survive in the future. Yechen's current strength is good, but as a veteran 9-star powerhouse with perfect strength, ranked third in the light plane, how can Theodore be afraid of Ye Chen? Ye Chen sneered and said, "Theodore, don't talk so much. The 3 plane fragments are exchanged for the Holy Punishment Supreme. Do you want to change it or not? If not, he will die. I will give you a quarter of an hour to think about it." Theodore's eyes flashed. He was thinking about whether to use the power of system attack. But since Ye Chen dares to spread the word so boldly, it is very likely that Ye Chen is far away from here now. There is a high probability that their system attack will not be very effective. In fact, Ye Chen is actually not too far away now. The current strength is much stronger than before. Xuanhuan Eternal City, Xiaoliu and Tongtianjianzhu all have 9-star perfection level strength. He now also has 9-star perfection level defensive armor. There are 9-star perfection level stand-in puppets. In the Xuanhuan Eternal City, Ye Chen also deployed a 9-star perfection level defensive formation. With various methods, even if he encounters a joint system attack from many powerful people, Ye Chen believes that he can withstand it. The worst result will be the loss of the stand-in puppet. In addition, stay here and he can sign in while Theodore and the others come over. Another year of good luck has accumulated. Ye Chen, ask the Holy Punishment Supreme to contact us. Theodore said solemnly. If the Holy Punishment Supreme can directly send a message to them, it means that the distance is not particularly far. Ye Chen said calmly, "Theodore, you can ask a strong person with a communication system to contact the Holy Punishment Supreme. He is alive and well now. But when a quarter of an hour is up, if I haven't received anything, he will definitely die." Ye Chen is now in front of the Supreme Punishment, and the Supreme Punishment can hear his words. Theodore tried to summon the Holy Punishment Supreme, but the summons failed. "Contact fellow Holy Punishment Deist." Theodore ordered a strong man from the light plane. "The other party has a communication system." "Yes, sir." In the light plane, this powerful person had an 8-star immortal cultivation level, and he quickly contacted the Holy Punishment Supreme. "Sir, the Supreme Punishment is still alive." Ye Chen caught him, but didn't do anything to him. The strong man from the light plane said. Theodore showed surprise in his heart. Ye Chen actually didn't deal with the Holy Punishment Supreme. Is he thinking about peace talks with them in the light plane in the future? It's not impossible. This is certainly not the case. The treasures of the Holy Punishment Supreme, including the treasures and systems that have been recognized as masters, have all been taken away by Ye Chen. His combat power is now only in the late 9-star stage. The Supreme Punishment lied. In order for the strong men from the light plane to redeem him smoothly. The treasure has not been taken away, and he at the peak of 9 stars is naturally more valuable than him at the later stage of 9 stars. We have to rescue fellow Holy Punishment Deist. That's right. Many other strong men from the light plane were talking about it. Although the Holy Punishment Supreme was caught, he still had many supporters in the light plane, and Theodore did not dare to say that he would not save the Holy Punishment Supreme. If he does this, he won't be able to pass the level of Lord of Light. Ye Chen, a fragment of the Xuanhuan plane, in exchange for the Supreme Punishment. We only have one. Theodore said solemnly. Fellow Deist Theodore, I'm afraid you are not joking. As far as I know, your relationship with the Holy Punishment Supreme is not very good. Do you want him to die? There is a teleportation array down there. Before a quarter of an hour is up, you put the things in the teleportation array. If you don't receive the items, you collect the bodies. The address is. Ye Chen gave the address, and no matter how much Theodore shouted, he never got a response from Ye Chen. Grass. Theodore cursed inwardly. Ye Chen actually said that, if the Holy Punishment Supreme dies in this situation, he will bear a lot of responsibility. Fellow Deist Lei Yuan, you must return the 2 fragments of the Xuanhuan plane given to you first. Theodore shouted. He just sent a summons to Emperor Lei Yuan, but the summons failed. Fellow Daoist Theodore, Ye Chen wants to collect this to help the Yanhuang plane. I can't return the Yanhuang plane fragments to you. We can think of other ways to save the Holy Punishment Supreme. We in the Abyss plane can provide all help in other aspects. Emperor Lei Yuan refused. Theodore said angrily, Emperor Lei Yuan, that was given to you by our light plane, and it did not gain any benefit from your Abyss plane. Fellow Daoist Theodore, since you gave it to us, it is already ours. Emperor Lei Yuan said softly. Time passed by minute, and only the last half minute remained. Theodore quickly rushed to the place Ye Chen said. In the last few seconds, he teleported a fragment of the Yanhuang plane in his hand. Ye Chen, you should have received a fragment of the Yanhuang plane. The other two fragments of the Yanhuang plane are not in the hands of our strong people from the light plane. I am willing to help you obtain them from Emperor Lei Yuan. Theodore raised his voice. Ye Chen's voice came over, fellow Daoist Theodore, I have actually obtained the other two fragments of the Yanhuang plane from Emperor Lei Yuan a long time ago. So the Supreme Saint punishment doesn't have to die. But since you only gave me a piece of the Yanhuang plane token fragment, I will not release the Supreme Saint punishment. Ye Chen's voice was naturally heard by Emperor Lei Yuan. His face changed. Ye Chen was actually exposed directly. Although this would deepen the rift between their Abyss plane and light plane, it would also allow their Abyss plane to continue to target Ye Chen. Asshole! Emperor Lei Yuan cursed in his heart. In his opinion, it was the best choice for Ye Chen not to say it and ease the relationship with their Abyss plane from now on. There are no permanent friends, no permanent enemies, only permanent interests. The light plane is a strong enemy. Emperor Lei Yuan didn't expect Ye Chen to be so stubborn. Emperor Lei Yuan, you are good. Theodore's cold voice sounded. Since Emperor Lei Yuan had already given the Yanhuang plane token fragment to Ye Chen, he must have secretly discussed with Ye Chen to calculate their light plane. As a result, at this moment, the three plane fragments have all been in Ye Chen's hands. The Supreme Saint punishment has not been exchanged yet. This result made Theodore want to vomit blood. Fellow Daoist Theodore, this is a misunderstanding. Emperor Lei Yuan transmitted his voice, and he had no confidence in what he said. Theodore is not a fool. Misunderstanding. If he could take out the fragments of the Yanhuang plane at this moment, everything would be fine, but he couldn't take it out, which proved that he had already given the plane fragments to Ye Chen. I'm afraid there is no misunderstanding. Emperor Lei Yuan, in order to become the master, you don't even take our bright plane into consideration. Theodore transmitted his voice coldly. Emperor Lei Yuan's eyes flashed, fellow Daoist Theodore, Ye Chen has obtained a total of 8 fragments of the Yanhuang plane. If he gives things to the strong men of the Yanhuang plane, the Yanhuang plane will be revived. Fellow Daoist Theodore, Ye Chen said it because he hopes we will fight. Do you want to do as he wishes? Theodore was extremely annoyed. Emperor Lei Yuan did this, and he wanted to rush into Thunder City immediately. But this would make Ye Chen very happy. He hated Ye Chen even more. Emperor Lei Yuan, you won't have a second chance. Theodore said coldly. For the time being, he couldn't turn against the Abyss plane directly. Otherwise, the Bright plane would have to face Ye Chen, the Yanhuang plane, and the Abyss plane at the same time. Emperor Lei Yuan secretly breathed a sigh of relief. Ye Chen, you made a wrong choice. The cold voice of Emperor Lei Yuan sounded in Ye Chen's mind. As long as I stay in the Empress Palace, I am invincible. Author, New Di. Chapter 618. Ye Chen curled his lips and didn't take it seriously. If he has nothing to do with the Yanhuang plane and can indeed reconcile with the Abyss plane, Emperor Lei Yuan only cares so much about the death of the Skeleton Hall Master and the others. But in another year, the Yanhuang plane rankings will be updated. Emperor Lei Yuan and the others are not stupid. we will definitely know his relationship with the Yanhuang plane by then. If he simply subsidized the Yanhuang plane, his ranking in the Yanhuang plane would not improve much. If the rankings of the Yanhuang plane soar in a short period of time, even if peace talks are held now, the Abyss plane will definitely still cooperate closely with the Light plane. System, sign in 3 times. Ye Chen said in his mind. He estimated that it would be difficult to get a 9-star perfect level reward this time. Sure enough, one reward was at the peak 9-star level, while the other 2 rewards were only at the late 9-star level. It's not like Tongtian Jianzu or Jingxi Sunflower, which can directly increase the strength. Fellow Taoist Theodore, I wonder if the Jade Plate of Creation is with you? If it is, you can use it to exchange for the supreme punishment. Ye Chen's voice sounded in Thunder City. Theodore and the others were not far from Thunder City, so they could naturally hear it. The Jade Disc of Creation. Theodore narrowed his eyes. This was Hung Jun's treasure back then. Did Ye Chen exchange this for Hung Jun? But if Hung Jun doesn't recover his strength, he won't be able to use the Jade Disc of Creation at all. The Jade Disc of Good Fortune is a 9-star pinnacle level treasure. Theodore, you can change if you want. If you don't want to change, I won't force you. Keep the holy punishment supreme, this seat is still useful. Ye Chen said calmly. Theodore's eyes flashed, the Jade Disc of Creation was really on his body. But he was not very happy to exchange this thing for the holy punishment supreme. Some other strong men in the Light plane looked at Theodore. It was not a secret that the Jade Dish of Creation was on him, and the supreme punishment also knew it. Ye Chen actually knows it now? Grass. Theodore cursed inwardly. If he doesn't give it away, he will be punished by the Holy Spirit and die in the future, and his responsibility is not small. On the fragments of the Yanhuang plane token, what he did was not pretty. Ye Chen, the Jade Dish of Good Fortune is on my body. We can trade. Theodore took a deep breath and raised his voice. He had to make this deal. If you give the Jade Plate of Good Fortune, you can still get it if you kill Ye Chen or Hung Jun in the future. If the Holy Punishment Supreme dies, he will not be able to be resurrected in the future. Okay, you send the thing over, and I will release the Holy Punishment Supreme immediately. Ye Chen said. Theodore said coldly, Ye Chen, I can't trust you. Ye Chen said softly, then don't deal with it. With my 9-star perfect level of strength, since I agreed, I will definitely not lie to you on purpose. Is this mere supreme punishment worthy of my reputation? If you use the Jade Disc of Good Fortune to destroy my credibility, you will make a profit. Theodore frowned secretly. What Ye Chen said did make sense. Be ready to let go, huh? Theodore snorted coldly. It didn't take long for Ye Chen to receive the Jade Dish of Creation. Fellow Daoist Theodore, let's meet over there in the Yanhuang Plain. The supreme punishment is over there in Skeleton City. Ye Chen directly sent a message to Theodore. His figure arrived outside Yanhuang Eternal City and teleported away instantly. Theodore kept staring, and he noticed a faint spatial fluctuation. Damn it! Theodore cursed inwardly. Ye Chen is not too far away. If they had known this, they would have launched a system attack. Walk. Theodore let the other strong men into his space treasure, and he immediately left through the air. He didn't want Ye Chen to leave the abyss safely. On the one hand, if Ye Chen goes to the Yanhuang plane, the strength of the Yanhuang plane will be a big trouble for them in the light plane. On the other hand, if Ye Chen is trapped in the abyss plane, and when Emperor Lei Yuan becomes the master, there is a high probability that Ye Chen will die in the abyss plane. He had to go outside and seal off the abyss. There were a lot of strong people here in the light plane before, but there are even more strong people here this time. Theodore thinks it should be feasible to block the abyss plane with their strength. As long as Ye Chen shows up, a strong man with an attack system will immediately launch a system attack. At the same time, all the strong players use various trump cards. Master, Theodore, and the others have left. Xiao Liu's voice sounded in Ye Chen's mind. Ye Chen has now teleported to Skull City, but Xiao Lu has not arrived there. As long as Xiao Liu moves, it takes a day to adapt. This is its shortcoming. Tongtian Jianzhu, Jingxi Sunflower, and Yanhuang Eternal City do not have this shortcoming. But Xiao Liu also has advantages. It has strong hiding ability and long communication distance, forming a dojo. In the dojo, it is easier for Ye Chen to break through the limits of heaven and earth and explode with power. Holy punishment, Heavenly Lord, don't fall into my hands again. You won't be so lucky in the future. Ye Chen said softly. He let the holy punishment Heavenly Lord go outside and blocked most of his cultivation. In less than half an hour, holy punishment Heavenly Lord would not be able to regain his strength. He would not be able to run outside the abyss to help Theodore and the others. Teleport. This side of Skeleton City is also an 8-star level teleportation point, and Ye Chen's figure disappeared. When he reappeared, Ye Chen was at Thunder City again. After transferring Theodore and the others, Ye Chen naturally wanted to target Liwen Imperial City and the others. In terms of his formation, he has a perfect 9-star level. Ye Chen has been studying the defensive formation in Thunder City for a long time and has basically figured out the rules. Combined with their powerful strength, it is not difficult to break through Thunder City's defense. Take action. Ye Chen passed the order to Xiao Liu and the others. The next second, Yanhuang Eternal City, Tongtian Sword Bamboo, Xiao Liu, 9-star Peak Pure World Sunflower, and Ye Chen himself launched attacks at the same time. The 5 forces are all extremely terrifying. At the same time, he ran towards the weak point of the defensive formation. Even if a 9-star peak level defensive formation is hit by a 9-star perfection level expert at its weak point, normal conditions cannot be destroyed instantly. But isn't this a 9-star perfection level force? Boom! Amidst the violent explosion, the first defensive formation collapsed instantly. Ye Chen and the others still have a lot of power left in their attacks. Boom! The second defensive formation also collapsed instantly. Many powerful people in Thunder City encountered powerful backlash. The faster the defensive formation is broken, the stronger the backlash they will endure. If it's slow, they have enough time to react. Break! Ye Chen shouted, they take action again. The third level of defense also collapsed. In Thunder City, Emperor Lei Yuan was horrified. He had originally estimated that even if he encountered an attack, the triple defense barrier could withstand it for at least 10 seconds. They will have time to build more defensive barriers. But now the triple barrier was destroyed in 1 second, and many of them suffered severe backlash. System, death attack. Ye Chen said in his mind that the target of the death attack is naturally Emperor Lei Yuan. The distance was extremely close, and the terrifying power of death immediately poured into Lei Yuan Emperor's body. I will only kill Emperor Lei Yuan. Ye Chen's voice sounded in Thunder City, and at the same time, he, Xiao Lu and the others burst out with all their strength. The abyssal plane has now used its combat power potential. There are more than a dozen strong men in Thunder City with 9-star immortal strength. But feeling the aura emanating from Ye Chen and the others, they all felt terrified. Most of them only have the strength of the early 9 stars, and many of them are still injured. Facing 4 9-star perfection level experts and 1 9-star peak level expert, they felt powerless. Escape. More than half of the 9-star level experts and the 8-star level experts immediately chose to escape. Some of the remaining strong men originally wanted to support Emperor Lei Yuan, but when they saw this situation, they quickly ran away. Asshole! Emperor Lei Yuan was furious, with a look of despair in his eyes. Ye Chen and his 5 terrifying forces came towards Emperor Lei Yuan. I surrender. Emperor Lei Yuan's voice suddenly sounded in Ye Chen's mind. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. As long as I stay in the Empress Palace, I am invincible. Author, New Did. Chapter 619. Don't resist. Ye Chen's voice sounded in Emperor Lei Yuan's mind, and in the next second, the powerful force directly carried Emperor Lei Yuan into the Yanhuang Immortal City. Xiao Lei, if you imprison your cultivation, the power of death in your body will be eliminated. Ye Chen smiled. Emperor Lei Yuan had a dark face, and he quickly restricted his cultivation. Ban. Ye Chen took action and imposed more restrictions. At the same time, he let the system dissipate the power of death in Emperor Lei Yuan's body. Otherwise, the powerful power of death will cause Emperor Lei Yuan's strength to plummet. Everyone, Emperor Lei Yuan has surrendered. Do any of you want to surrender? If there are very few, it means that Emperor Lei Yuan's influence is limited, and there may be no need to keep him alive. Ye Chen's voice sounded in the minds of the fleeing strong men. Damn it! Many strong men in Thunder City cursed in their hearts, they chose to turn back. With the strength Ye Chen showed, they actually felt that even if they escaped, they might not be able to escape, and they would probably fall into Ye Chen's hands in the future. Furthermore, what should Ye Chen do if he really kills Emperor Lei Yuan? Emperor Lei Yuan's influence in Thunder City is still very strong. Master Ye Chen, we surrender. Master Ye Chen, the sect master is of extremely high value in the Abyss Plane. With the sect master in hand, more strong men in our Abyss Plane will definitely surrender in the future. Many powerful men in Thunder City spoke one after another. There are no 9-star level experts, but there are 10 or 27 or 8-star level experts in total. Not bad. Receive. Ye Chen brought them all to Yanhuang Eternal City with the thought. Listen to all the powerful men in the Abyss Plane, if you cooperate with the Light Plane, I will kill you in the Abyss Plane. Emperor Lei Yuan and the others will also die. Ye Chen's voice came from far away. The next second, Ye Chen tracked out, and he was chasing the Deep Space Supreme. Deep Space Supreme is a strong man in the late 9-star stage. His original strength dropped to the mid 9-star level, but later he recovered to the late 9-star stage. When Ye Chen and the others took action just now, they left a mark on the Deep Space Supreme. He was only gone for a short time and could be traced. Half a minute passed, and Deep Space Supreme's expression changed. He noticed something unusual. Deep Space Supreme, can you run away? Are you going to continue running away and fight to the death later, or are you going to surrender obediently? Ye Chen's voice sounded in the mind of Deep Sky Supreme. Well. The Deep Space Supreme sighed and stopped running away. He actually used the forbidden technique to escape, but even if he used the forbidden technique, he now only has the peak 9-star strength, and Ye Chen's top 9-star perfect strength. I surrender. Deep Space Supreme said. Ye Chen didn't need to speak, he quickly restricted his cultivation. Knowing faces, good. Ye Chen smiled lightly and immediately put the Deep Space Supreme away as he spoke. The other strong men in the Abyss Plane have already run away and cannot catch up for the time being. But for Ye Chen, it was enough to catch the two big fish, Lei Yuan Emperor and Deep Sky Supreme. The rest of the powerful ones were only in the mid 9-star stage. Outside the Abyss Plane, Theodore and the others felt something was wrong, but Ye Chen didn't escape outside. Didn't even try. This isn't quite right. At this moment, a strong person from the Abyss Plane came outside. Fellow Deist Theodore, something happened. Ye Chen stormed Thunder City. He was extremely powerful in formation. He attacked the weak points of Thunder City's defense formation. Moreover, they are so strong. 4 9-star perfections, 1 9-star peak. Lei Yuan Emperor and Deep Sky Supreme were captured. The strong man who came out said quickly. Theodore's expression changed greatly. Are Ye Chen and the others so strong? It turns out that what Ye Chen showed was not 2 9-star great perfections and 1 9-star peak. How did it become 4 9-star perfections and 1 9-star peak? This difference is not a small one. Since Ye Chen has such strength, it is impossible for them to trap Ye Chen if they stay outside. They may even be in danger. Fellow deist Theodore, please help us in the abyss plane. Ye Chen is now looking everywhere to capture the strong men in our abyss plane. The strong man who came out prayed. Theodore looked ugly. He didn't really care whether the strong men in the abyss plane died or not. But in the abyss plane, he has always been a qualified vicious dog. For matters concerning the Xuanhuan plane, they still have to use the abyss plane. Furthermore, if they just ignore it, how will some powerful people from other planes view the plane of light? Receive. Theodore allowed many powerful men from the light plane to enter the treasures in his own space. Then he quickly entered the abyssal plane. In the abyss plane, join some strong people in the abyss plane, they will be safer. In Theodore's view, it is entirely possible for Ye Chen to spend more than 10 or 8 years here to completely conquer the abyss plane. Little did he know that in another year, the Xuanhuan plane rankings would be updated. Ye Chen couldn't stay here for a long time, otherwise there would be problems in the Xuanhuan plane. Haha, we really got in. Ye Chen muttered that he arrived outside the abyss plane and did not find Theodore and the others. Without any delay, Ye Chen left quickly. The target is the red flame plane. The light plane has united with some other planes and is now operating in the red flame plane. The combined power there is not weaker than the power of the light plane in the abyss plane, but the power of the light plane alone is not as strong. The strongest is the goddess of light, Aphra, and then the supreme saint Word. The Lord of Light will naturally not be here. Leaving the light plane, the Lord of Light cannot gain any increase in strength, and he is only at the level of 9-star perfection. Theodore and Aphra, 2 9-star perfection strongmen, have left, and the light plane also needs top strongmen to guard it. The enemies of the light plane are not only Ye Chen. Lord Aphra, Wu Ying Tianzun is out again. The Supreme Saint Word transmitted the message. Wu Ying Tianzun is a late 9-star strongman with a very powerful concealment system. The strongmen of the light plane invited him over at a great cost, and then spent a great deal of money to let him bring some strongmen into the red flame plane again and again. The effect is good. Every time Wu Ying Tianzun and his team enter, they will stay there for half a year, which can increase their strength in the red flame plane. Do they have 9-star strength in the red flame plane? Aphra asked. Lord Aphra, Wu Ying Tianzun already has it, but the others don't yet. But Wu Ying Tianzun has such strength inside, so he will be much safer in the future. The Supreme Saint of Words transmitted the message. Yes. Aphra nodded. In order for Wu Ying Tianzun and his team to adapt faster after entering, and for the system to recover faster after Wu Ying Tianzun comes out, they paid a huge price. But as long as they can get a 10-star immortal system, it will all be worth it. If they get a 10-star immortal system, Aphra believes it will definitely belong to them. Because the Lord of Light already has a 10-star immortal system. She and Theodore are both 9-star perfect strength, but she is still the Lord of Light's woman, and her cultivation is higher than Theodore. With a high cultivation, it is easier for a powerful system to recognize the master. Lord Aphra, within 5 years, we can let more strong people enter and adapt to the environment inside. We can definitely take down Luo Hanjian and others within 10 years. The Supreme Saint said. Aphra frowned and said, a small red flame plane has blocked us for so long. I can't wait another 10 years. I will try to take it down in 5 years. As long as I stay in the Empress Palace, I am invincible. Author, New Di. Chapter 620. In the Xian Plain, limited by the limits of heaven and earth, Luo Hanjian still only has the strength of the late 9 stars. En Langxiu and the others have the strength of the early 9 stars. Ye Chen left them a lot of resources, and also left them the time tower that can speed up 1 billion times. Sister Hanjian, what's wrong? Sister Hanjian. And Langxiu and the others all stopped practicing, and they came to Luo Hanjian. Luo Hanjian frowned slightly. Sisters, I'm afraid there won't be so much time for you to practice next. The enemy's strength should have increased a lot. When Wu Yingtianzun used the power of the system to sneak in, Luo Hanjian felt it, but she could only sense that a strong person had sneaked in, and couldn't find the other party. Luo Hanjian also tried to let in Langxiu and the others help, but it didn't work. The other party used the power of the system to hide. From then on, Luo Hanjian asked in Langxiu and the others to practice with all their strength, and she herself focused on staring and looking for the invading strongman. Unfortunately, she didn't find it. In the next few years, the enemy will definitely have many 9-star level strongmen entering, and they may adapt to the environment inside. It is estimated that many 7 and 8-star level strongmen will also come in. Luo Hanjian said. With the strongmen in the Xian plain, the strongmen entering from the outside world are at most the strength of the early 9-star, and she herself has the strength of the late 9-star. This is an advantage. But as long as the opponent has more strongmen entering, this advantage will be wiped out. She and Langxiu add up to only 6. If we stick to the July universe, as long as more strongmen enter the Xian plane and jointly attack the July universe, the July universe may not be able to withstand it. And Langxiu, Sister Hanjian, if the enemy is too strong in a few years, we may have to consider transferring the people in the July universe, and we hide. Yes. Luo Hanjian nodded slightly. It's best for us to find the enemy in the next few years. On the Xian plain, they have actually done everything they can. Now they are gradually facing difficulties. It's not that Luo Hanjian and the others are incapable, it's that the bright plane is too strong, and the bright plane can also get support from the strong in other planes. I don't know how my brother-in-law is doing now. Luo Yudi murmured. Luo Hanjian said, my husband was originally quite strong, but he left the time tower to us. If he doesn't sign in to get the top time treasure, his cultivation will be much slower. Plus his previous 8-star perfection, his cultivation may be stuck at 8-star perfection. We can't rely on my husband. There are many strong people in the outside world, and it's dangerous for my husband to come. Zi Lanyan said, Sister Hanjian, we have captured a lot of strong people and have a lot of bargaining chips. Luo Hanjian sighed, the ones who are currently outside the red flame plane are likely to be the top strong people in the bright plane. The other party is taking a great risk to act. It's hard to say how much our bargaining chips can play a role. Most of the strong people we captured are still strong people in the abyss plane. Zi Lanyan said, no matter what, we will try our best to delay for more than 20 years. I believe my husband will be much stronger by then. Let's try to hold on for 30 years. If we really can't hold on, you should know what to do, right? Luo Hanjian glanced over and said. Zi Lanyan and the others nodded solemnly one by one. They must not fall into the hands of the enemy. They can choose to die. If they die in the red flame plane, as long as the red flame plane is not destroyed, they may be resurrected in the future. If they fall into the hands of the enemy, Yechen may be captured by then, and they will all have no way to survive. I miss my husband so much. Me too. Luo Hanjian and the others' eyes were full of longing. Now that he has the strength of the 9-star perfection level, it took more than a month for Yechen to rush from the abyss plane to the red flame plane. Yechen turned into the appearance of Emperor Lei Yuan. Emperor Lei Yuan, why are you here? Yechen approached, and the Supreme Saint words came to greet him. He was a little suspicious. While speaking, the Supreme Saint words tried to transmit a message to Emperor Lei Yuan. The message was successful. It means that Emperor Lei Yuan is nearby. Fellow Daoist Shen Yan, can this seat be fake? Emperor Lei Yuan in Yanhuang Immortal City transmitted a message. He can see the situation outside. There are many strong men in the light plane here, and there are also many strong men in other planes, but Emperor Lei Yuan dare not let Xuanhuan Supreme and others deal with Ye Chen. His cultivation has been imprisoned to an absolute extent. If Ye Chen wants to kill him, it will be a matter of seconds. Moreover, if Ye Chen shows his strength, will the strong men in other planes here target Ye Chen? Emperor Lei Yuan probably doesn't think so. The strong men in the light plane alone may not be able to beat Ye Chen. Lei Yuan Daiyu, I'm afraid that Ye Chen will pretend to be you, sorry. Xuanhuan Supreme said. Yes. Emperor Lei Yuan nodded slightly. Soon he and Xuanhuan Supreme came to the goddess of light Afra together. Something happened in the abyss plane. Ye Chen has a 9-star perfect war main city. Daiyu Theodore was severely injured. They were besieged in Ye Chen's war main city. Our strong men in the abyss plane currently know the approximate location and are looking for Ye Chen and others, but they have not found them after searching for several days. Ye Chen said in a deep voice. Afra's face changed slightly. Emperor Liwen, are you here to ask for help? I'm here to tell you this news. If Ye Chen takes down fellow deist Theodore and the others, the abyss plane will also be in big trouble. Ye Chen said with a gloomy face, fellow deist Afra, how is it here? Afra did not speak. The Supreme Saint Word coughed lightly and said, Thunder Abyss Emperor, the situation here is not bad. The Supreme Shadowless has already reached the strength of the early 9-star level in the red flame plane. Some other strong men have also reached the strength of the 8-star level in it. Next, some strong men can adapt to the environment inside more safely. Ye Chen was shocked that the Supreme Shadowless had already reached the strength of the early 9-star level in the red flame plane. If more strong men from the outside world enter to adapt to the environment, Luo Hongjian and the others will be in great danger. It seems that it won't take too long to take down Luo Hongjian and the others, but if Ye Chen catches Theodore and the others, it will be meaningless to take down Luo Hongjian and the others. Fellow deist Afra, what do you think? Ye Chen said. Afra thought about it in her heart. It would take time for the Supreme Shadowless to recover in her space treasure, so she just happened to go to the abyss plane. Fellow deist Shenjun, you take some people to stay. I'll take some people to the abyss plane for rescue. Afra said. The Supreme Saint Word nodded. With his strength, it was enough to bring some strong men to seal the red flame plane. There are also strong men from other planes to help here. Before adapting to the environment inside, the strong men from other planes can't mess around. Fellow deist Afra, you are fast, take me there. It's not cheap to rush from the abyss plane. Ye Chen said. Afra nodded slightly, and she put Ye Chen and some strong men from the bright plane into her space treasure. Ye Chen could see outside. Thunder Abyss Emperor, if you want to come out, you can come out at any time. Afra said in a light voice. Okay. Ye Chen nodded. Afra left quickly, and her speed of the 9-star perfection level was fully exploded.